Hello, everybody. It's Cowboy Kobe. Um, this is a creepy critters, uh, kind of like creation vlog, like how I got here. How I got here. Wait, some stuff just popped up on my eye. So yeah, I'm gonna tell the story of how creepy critters came to be. Um, okay, so I'll introduce myself first of all. If you know me, um, then you know me. If you don't know me, then you're here watching this video. I want you to know me because I want to be something. I want to be someone to you because my name is Cowboy Kobe, and my band's name is Treasury, and I make important music, and I say important things, and I have important things that I'm involved in, and people try to uh, shine a light onto other things around me and my situation. But anyways, that's who I am. Why is Fantasy Treasury important? Because we're very important. When I look in the camera, I feel like I see my eyes going two different ways. But okay, so this is Road to Creepy Critters Hours. One of the first ideas of Creepy Critters, what the concept of Creepy Critters was there's a ride at Disney called It's Tough to Be a Bug, and I've seen it before. I've seen it twice now in my life, and the second time I saw it, it was very inspirational. It's a post-war, postmodern take on musicals, capitalism. Its presentation at Disneyland is very interesting. You don't have to go there, but you go there and you see it, and you see the kind of like musical take on things. Disneyland, of course, is a very capitalist like environment. It's a corporation's amusement park. As an anti-capitalist, you wouldn't like it if you don't like Disney. As a business owner, you would say, how do I open my own amusement? So I saw that show. It was crazy. It inspired me so much that when me and Nathan decided to create the second album, and we talked to each other and we said, what's the concept for it? We decided we're going to do Creepy Critters. The name came from me. Obviously, most of the fierceness and the I don't know. There's so much behind the music that we make that's so powerful. But the power from some of those songs definitely came from Nathan. The concept came from me. I think it's presented exactly how we wanted to do it. But anyways, we came up with that concept for it. It was something kind of like that, but with the two word for the world edge. We did a Tupac remix of a demo by Nathan Cope that is bugging a rug. So how do Bug want it? We released that remix on December 24th. The very next day, a bomb goes off on 2nd Avenue in Nashville on Christmas morning, and it freaks me the fuck out because I woke up at like around the time that bomb went off. I was in another city. I was miles away from Nashville. I was shocked. It's my town. It's the city I'm living in currently. I'm not in the city at the time. Details surrounding that bomb that blew up on 2nd Avenue were not being released, have yet to be released. The FBI's decision to call it 5G bomb in the media, and TBI and Tennessee law enforcement, and really just America's law enforcement's decisions in that bomb's handling the public's like perception of their safety and terror threats in Nashville at that time. No disclosure of their plan of action to make sure people feel safe or that people are safe. It was shocking to go through. I had just made an EP called 5G, and I released it for Halloween. Because me and Nathan were, well, because I say me and Nathan, but Fantasy Treasury, like the idea of what we were about to do, we were going to do things on holidays, so we did the 5G tape, then we did Merry Christmas, which came out on 12/21, and then the 5G bomb blew up, which they call 5G, blew up on Christmas, and on 12/21, December 21st, we released Merry Christmas, in a order of like our holiday themed releases. So it went Too Weird for the World, then 5G Belle Ellis EP, and the videotape, which is all on YouTube, and then December 21st, the Merry Christmas EP. After the 5G bomb blew up, we decided to phrase Belle Ellis and the 5G EP that we deleted, the Y22K mixtape that we didn't promote, that we deleted our music off of streaming services entirely to distance ourselves from the idea of what was happening, so we could re-upload our album and release new music with it. But we took everything off. Oh damn! I got lost in it because I wanted to smile when I said a new music, but yeah, we deleted everything because we wanted to brand ourselves as LGBTQA, LGBTQAnon, so we could say things in a way in America, because we're not an American band. We could add into the commentary of things that were happening in front of our eyes, as I'm in Nashville and Nathan's in Ontario, and we're a Canadian American band, and terror is being enacted in front of our eyes. We wanted to brand ourselves as LGBTQA to interfere with the QAnon narrative. But anyways, that's where we steered into. Our intentions were set forth that way, and I decided to remove the 5G EP from streaming. We removed Too Weird for the World. At one point, we removed pretty much everything that was online about us off of the internet, because the media had referred to a bomb as the 5G bomb, that had taken place on Christmas. That shocked me. It hurt me deeply. It just scared me, is really what happened to me. Is I was scared over it. I had just moved out and I was living on my own. So I was living on my own for about a month. Or well, I was living with someone for about a month, and I moved out and I was on my own. So a month after that bomb happened, I was on my own. It freaked me out because I had an EP named something that was a bomb's name, and I had named this prior to that happening, and I didn't like the idea of it, so it hung heavy on my mentality. So we decided to change things, and it hurt relations between me and Nathan, because of some of the paranoia I began to experience around that time, where we were going through all that stuff. It changed the idea of what Fantasy Treasury would become and what it would be later on until our releases, because of how Too Weird for the World was created, what it was supposed to be, along with all of our music, what we were putting out. What would become a Fantasy Treasury was a commercial idea of what was happening, as I realized very early on that people were trying to mess with me, hurt my feelings, and gaslight me to be able to achieve their own goals and ambitions of some type of pursuit. I can't call it creative. In fantasy treasury, there's all this stuff going on. We deleted music, we changed some things, all that, and I released the Critterz EP. I don't know what it's on. I think it's still out there on Napster. I think it's on Napster. Yeah, it has to be on Napster. I can't pull it up, but if I could look it up, I would find out. So yeah, Critterz EP, we put that out. What were the songs on that? Billy's Decisions, Itsy Bitsy Spider, Ladybug, and Bug in a Rug, I think. That was the first presentation we had of Creepy Critterz. It looked like Perks of Being Wallflower type of album cover. That's what I thought of it. But during that time of us making that, just to get personal about it, one song strikingly from that EP and from that album and that whole project as a whole, Ladybug, which really we put on Too Weird for World and is also on Creepy Critterz. Ladybug is a very emotional song for me. My ex-boyfriend eventually took me to court, and I went to court for the first time as someone being accused of something by Graham Connor Watts, my rapist. So they took me to court and they wanted to get an order of protection out on me, and they weren't able to do it, and it freaked me out because around that same time as me going to court over that, when I was served on April 1st, and earlier that month I released the EP for Critterz with those 3 songs on it that you can find on Napster. I'm pretty sure. I think it's on Napster. Between that time I began realizing that I was being spied on, that I had been bugged, but I was spied on and I was bugged and I'm still spied on and I'm still bugged from this period on, and I'm taken to court during the situation, and it's my abuser, it's my abusive ex-boyfriend. I don't know how to phrase it. Everything that comes out about it from my mouth is me wanting to be defensive about it because I've been taken to court multiple times over about it. I don't want to speak about it. It's hardened my shell as a person. I find it retarded. But I told a cop, I said, this person, once we were released from the courtroom after it was dismissed, I told a cop, this person raped me, assaulted me, and abused me. How were they able to do this? The cop said, you should get an order of protection or something. And I thought, okay, I don't understand it, and I'm being spied on, and I'm currently bugged at the time, and I'm going through hearing it all the time. I'm hearing about it all the time, and being harassed by things in my life. And when this was happening to me, I decided to stop talking to people. People in my life were having really huge moments happening in their life. Like people were being born. There were transformations going on. People were becoming one thing, changing to become another thing. So much was happening. We put out the first album, Creepy Critter, the first version of the album, Creepy Critterz, and its whole length. And it was just a silly project. I took it offline really early on. Creepy Critterz is like obviously gonna come out, and it was a silly album idea from the beginning because we wanted to do rap. We wanted to do a hip hop album, so I just put out what was on there, and it's really silly. It's really just a demo album of what Creepy Critterz would become. But yeah, it came out. I sing SZA on it. But yeah, at that time, by the end of April, uh, most of the music that Fantasy Treasury had online was taken down for the Too Weird for World release that we put out. So Too Weird for World came out, and where is this? I said Code and Messages revealed because I wanted to talk about that album. Okay, so Too Weird for World came out. This album was really different the first time it was released. The second time it was released, it had a couple songs from our first EP. It has, well, I don't think it does. It might. Yeah, it does. But this was the idea of what we really wanted to put out to the world. For us having a really silly demo phase of what we wanted to say and do in all that we wrote and did really fast. At that time, I was suffering through a lot. The whole world was going through a lot. There's no explanation, but Too Weird for World came out. Really, the only two songs on there that were made way after the fact of what we wanted to put on our first album was 99 Pontiac Sunfire Rides and Skin Hair Thoughts, and that's because it became Ladybug. But we wanted to put it on our first album. I wanted to put it on our first album. Those two songs are on there at the very end of pretty much everything that was happening. But yeah, I think that album's pretty great. I put it out. I thought it was a good idea to put out. I was going through a lot at the time. I was going through so many hard feelings, having to face my reality of people knowing so much about my life, like somebody invading my whole life's scheme, my whole life story laid out for someone who was stalking me and invading my whole privacy, and tried so hard to get into every crevice of my life is what made me want to put out this album and detail things like there's songs on this album about really bad abuse. My friend is a beautiful writer. I think they put everything together really great. Nathan is really talented. I think that shines through in everything that we did in this. But I mean, songs like I Know I Hurt, no, I like Angels, like I Never Knew You, Fade to Black, Caroline's, I don't know, Fade to Black. Those are really sad songs. Skin Hair Thoughts, that's a sad song. Those are really fucked up songs. Like those detail like really traumatic moments of I mean, I don't want to expend too much knowledge behind the meaning of a song towards my own fantasization of it and the experience I've had in my life, but those songs like dealing with what I was dealing with and what we wrote together. Nathan is like a larger percentage of the writing of most of what some of those songs are, and some of the more emotional songs for me that I've heard out of Fantasy Treasury that we've been able to make. They're very detailed accounts of sexual violence and emotional distress and abandonment, loneliness, ostracization, I don't know, that's what that album sounds like to me, but when we put it together, that's kind of what it was in a moment of me being entirely judged by people. And I'm kind of drinking right now, so I'm just railing off about things, about something that I made that is so hard to detail and explain. But off of being like taunted by someone, harassed by someone, and really just having somebody be so invasive towards my life while I'm working on a creative project, I wanted to be reactionary because of what the project that we had just made meant to me and to Nathan from what we had made in all of those songs and what it sounded like, what we wanted to do with it. I decided to make a commercial perspective about Too Weird for World to share with people, but yeah, we released it. That's what it was. But at the time, it was summer of 2021. I was trying to expunge all government documents about me because I had no idea why my ex took me to court. They raped me. They were abusive. They are lying when they took me to court. All this bullshit. Like, I don't give a shit about it. I just wanted to not have the government involved with me because I was being spied on and I didn't know what to do. I thought it was like, fuck, it might be the police spying on me. Like, fuck 12. I hate 12 anyways. I'm sure they would do some shit like this. So I just thought, fuck you, I'm going to report my whole rape to you, to the people who were bugging me and spying on me. I told them all the details of it, and then I went to the police to report the details of my rape. So I could do this, and it happened within the time of me being able to report it legally. So I went to the police in August. I started working at this pizza place in August, and I was going to the police department, and every time I would go there I would say, hey, how do I report this? And nobody helped me. I went there 3 times and nobody helped me. So that happened. That fucking happened. I went to the sheriff's department is what it really was, and if they wanted to say they couldn't help me, they could have called a police officer there to report my rape, or they could have told me go to the night court, or I can walk you to the night court. You clearly seem like you don't know what's going on. But anyways, I'm taking to court in September. Oh no, I take my ex to court in September, and what was happening? I just released an EP called Too Queer for World plus Creepy Critterz, and it was a new version of Creepy Critterz had just came out, and a remix EP of Too Weird for World had just came out, all of which I wasn't going to keep online. And that somebody who was spying on me was asking me to take down, so I took it down. So after all of this has happened, all these people are listening to me, harassing me about shit, and I'm telling them, like, these are the details of, like, my whole rape. Like, I've detailed every last part of it to you. Like, almost every last detail on every angle. And it's a perpetual thing where, like, I can't stop doing it because I'm ideating on, like, this trauma that I've dealt with, and people finally listening to me in a way that I'm able to express it. And somebody's ideating on to, like, listening to me all the time, so I'm giving them all the information about something that I'm ideating on to telling somebody who's able to listen to me entirely. And that's just how it happened. And apparently police weren't listening to it, but we go to court in September, and the judge says, no, you can't get your order of protection against somebody who raped you, even though you just came out in court about getting raped. Everybody saw it. I said, this person raped me in my sleep. They raped me at their birthday party while I was blackout drunk. I'm gonna say it, Graham Connor Watts gave me a golden shower, and I was blackout drunk, and they did really horrible things to me. But a court let them walk away, so I started singing Kyoto by Phoebe Bridgers. I was taken out of the courtroom. Eventually I was charged with harassment for this. I was judged innocent because of it, and I would like to note that I bought the courtroom audio of it, and the court security guard that goes on trial lies about it, as does the girl who my ex brought into court for the trial, that he brought as his witness. For whatever reason, he brought somebody into the courtroom. She also lied on trial, and then she lied in the preceding legal trial that was happening. But yeah, that happened. I was taken out of the courtroom. I was eventually charged with harassment. I was arrested the night I went to this girl's work. It's a hotel. It's called Noel Hotel. And I went there to ask them why they involved themselves in a courtroom proceeding, which was about my rape. Because this girl used their namesake in there. So eventually they got so mad at me that they dragged me out of their hotel lobby and they slammed my head against the door and they hit me onto the door. And I was bleeding. I'm bleeding in my mugshot. I drove to the police department and I said, this person just assaulted me. I wanted to report it. And the police arrested me for the warrant they had served for my harassment charge for whatever had happened at the court date that happened where I was trying to get an order of protection against my rapist so I could have protection while I was reporting my rape, as I had told to the police department. And anyways, I'm arrested and they take me to jail and they don't report my assault, and I say, I'm being spied on right now, just so you know, like, you're arresting me and I'm currently being spied on, is what I told to the cops, and I'm sure it's on their camera. But I'm able to FaceTime my little brother, and let me see if I can pull up the video of me FaceTiming my little brother. Yeah, so I'm FaceTiming people. I'm in a car. I'm in a cop car. I'm so pissed off. People aren't answering. I'm calling my other brother. My family's out of town, but yeah, I had enough time to do that stuff. Alright, shit, you know, I'm in the back of the police car, Kane. Thank you for not answering. I just got arrested. So I'm calling right now. Yeah, so that's all I really was able to say to people. Right before then, that guy hit me on the door. It bust the top of my eyebrow open. I thought it was inappropriate. But yeah, I drove to jail. I said, can I report this assault? The police came there from the judge magistrate, and they came there. They interviewed me. They said, actually, we have a warrant for your arrest. So they decided to arrest me. And as I began walking away, because they said, actually, we have a warrant for your arrest, they tackled me to the ground. I said, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then as they're putting me in jail, I say, I'm bugged. I'm being spied on. Somebody's speaking to me. Somebody's transmitting messages to me. And they're locking me up. And I'm saying, you don't understand. You're fucking retarded for thinking that you have a warrant for this. And I spend time in jail that night. And I'm put into a 12 by 12 box of solitary confinement because I put my foot up on the seat like this, and they said, you fucking jerk off, you fucking piece of shit, how dare you? And then they threw me into solitary confinement. Well, they threw me into a cell, and then they threw me in the cell. I said, how dare you put your fucking foot up on the seat, you piece of shit. And I said, all in all, we're just another brick in the wall. And then I'm banging on the cell block door, and I'm banging messages to them. I'm saying hi. I'm sending them Morse code. 'Cause I just wanted to say hi. Get me the fuck out of here. Get me the fuck out of here. And I'm banging on the door. in my cell block and saying, "Get me the fuck out of here! I don't belong in here, bitch!" And eventually they open the door and they say, "You're right, you don't belong in here, bitch!" And they put me in a smaller box, and they're arresting me inside of booking, and I'm not supposed to be there. I'm supposed to get a call to get my fucking bell to get out of there, and I have a concussion because I've been hit. I'm telling things before it even happens, but I have a concussion. I've been hit. All of this happens. They take my mugshot picture while I have a concussion. You can see my mugshot. I'm bleeding in it. I tell the police, I say, "Hey, what about the 5G bomb? Do you know anything about that? Because you've brought me here." And nobody knows anything. As I'm telling first aid, "Hey, I have a concussion. Also, do you know anything about the 5G bomb that happened just down the street from where you are?" Anyways, but yeah, so they take me out of the cell block that I'm in, and then they walk me over around the corner, and they put me up against the wall, and they say, "Put your hands up against the wall," and I say, "Get your fucking hands off of me. Stop handling me like this, you piece of shit. Get your fucking hands off of me. You don't know who the fuck you're dealing with." And they put anklet chains around me, and they put chains on my wrists, and they put me into 12 by 12 block, and then they put somebody next to me. And boy, did they hurt me when they put those fucking wristlets on me, and I'm just singing. All I was doing was singing Phoebe Bridgers. I said, "I want to believe," but then I look at the sky and I feel nothing. You know I hate to be alone. I want to be wrong. And they put me in the block, and I'm in 12 by 12 solitary confinement, and I look directly into the camera, and I begin singing Phoebe Bridgers' Punisher album word for word. I begin mouthing it into the camera so they know who they're fucking with, somebody who does not give a shit that they wanted to put me in those holds that they illegally did, that they had no right to do, that they literally had no motherfucking right to do, that they had no right to arrest me and to hold me there that night, to book me that night or the next night. I wanted them to know that they're fucking retarded, and they got me at the wrong motherfucking time, so I mouthed the album into the camera to tell them that they're fucking retarded. From my solitary confinement cell, so we had tracks 1 through 4 mouthed, while the person next to me is screaming about Taylor Swift and really hoping he never has to meet her, or something like that. Like he's scared to meet her, or something like that. And then tell him, "Shut the fuck up, please stop. I don't want to hear it. Like I don't care about you saying these things about Taylor Swift. Like you're fucking retarded." And I'm standing next to you, and I'm in jail right now, and I'm not supposed to be here. And people are broadcasting a message to my mind at that exact moment, and I think, you know what? My EP is coming out this weekend, is what I immediately thought. So I leave jail the next day after my bell is paid. I leave jail around like 3 or 2 a.m. I go home, I rest for a little bit, and then I go out and do Uber Eats deliveries. And then after I do Uber Eats deliveries, I go back to the police department. The police arrest me again for I tried to see if they reported my assault, and they did not. And they decided to arrest me again because I made an Uber Eats delivery pickup by Noel Hotel in Nashville. So I went to one restaurant around the block from it, and then I went to another restaurant around the block that you have to walk around Noel to get to. And it was on Uber Eats, and it was legal, and I did nothing that broke my order of protection. I was judged as somebody who broke my order of protection when I walked across I walked on the sidewalk, and it doesn't fucking matter. And I'm criminalized in this situation as a rape victim because I walked on a sidewalk to make a Uber Eats delivery pickup. But yeah, so I went to jail for that because the valet driver from Noel was so empowered by the situation around protecting one of their co-workers from my dangerous mystique. that when I walked across the sidewalk, they were compelled to run after me and take pictures of me. And I was arrested when I asked if the Noel Hotel staff member had been arrested or reported for my assault because they truly assaulted me. I was arrested for breaking my order of protection, which I had been served in jail while concussed. And the whole situation of me going to solitary confinement, being let out, barely cared for. So I went back to jail. They interviewed me on camera. This camera crew came there and they interviewed me and they talked to me. I told them I hate the bail system. I detailed the bail bond system to them and why it's a horrible way for the sheriff's department, any law enforcement department to be able to fund themselves. I think it's a horrible way for them to do it. I detailed every bit of that in an interview. They said it was going to be on PBS. I don't think it's going to be on TV. I think they were lying to me. But I also detailed so much about my specific situation where I was being blackmailed by people who were accusing me of all these things. And I was serving any amount of, like, I was arrested, I was booked, I would, like, went through all this shit for being accused of things without going on trial. Like, all this shit was fucking retarded to go through, and I said all of this on camera, and that all happened in one interview on a camera while I sat in jail for being falsely accused of some shit. I watched the Olympic figure skating, and this was in October, but yeah, that happened. The critterz EP released, the, like, critterz EP that's out on streaming. That came out. But yeah, I was able to report my rape to the police and that whole arresting scheme. So I was able to get it reported in the back of a police car. They said, yeah, we're going to do it. And I think I called them or they called me, but eventually I was interviewed by Detective Boone of the Metro Police Department, who eventually changed his police department from sex crime unit to murder crime unit, homicide unit, and left me hanging on if my sex crime unit case is going to be actually investigated or closed, while I'm actively being incriminated by Metro's court system and the Tennessee court system by my abuser and my ex-boyfriend who was my rapist and the person who sexually assaulted me, on top of everything. But they interview me, I leave, all that happens, he changes the apartment. I don't know when I'll see justice. Then in December, that happened in November. Then in December, I'm texting my mom, I'm saying, hey, can you please help me? Like, can you call the police and ask them, like, do you think you're gonna investigate this rape or something? Like, I'm saying shit like that. I'm like, hey, like, do you think you could help me get a lawyer or something like that? And then the police come over to my house and they say that I'm suicidal, and then they admit me into the hospital saying I'm suicidal, and this is really what happened. And they steal me from my home. I have videos on my Instagram of this happening to me. But they steal me from my home. They take me from my home. Eventually I put on, like, before they take me from my home, I put on Olivia Rodrigo, the Sour Prom video, and I'm just watching that, I'm playing that, I'm singing along to it when I can. I sing Happier as they take me out of my apartment. They had no right to do it. They had no warrant to enter my apartment, and there's videos on my Instagram of them inside of my apartment, and they really did not have a warrant to come into my motherfucking apartment, and they came into my motherfucking apartment with no right to say that I was suicidal, to steal me from my home, to put me into the hospital, and try to give me any type of diagnosis, a mental diagnosis, which would have no conclusive evidence from me being taken there when I'm not suicidal, when I'm being admitted into hospital entirely off of the police's report that I'm suicidally ideating. When suicidal ideation is an emotion that people have. When suicidal ideation is something people go through that doesn't require hospitalization or a mandatory court-ordered hospitalization and mental ward visit for somebody saying you're suicidally ideating when I wasn't even suicidal is the whole thing. I wasn't suicidal. I clearly wasn't suicidal. I was clearly somebody, a victim of abuse, asking people, can you help me do this? And then you call the police, they come over. I detail the events. I detail every reason why I'm upset. The police won't arrest my fucking rapist. The police won't go and arrest him and interview him and interrogate him, is what I said to them. And then they put me into a mental hospital for wanting to say I'm suicidally ideating. So that happened in December. Meanwhile, I'm being spied on and bugged on. All this is happening. I can't come out about it because people are lying about me. I don't want to be in a mental hospital. I'm already incriminated. I already have a dirty record. I can't get a job. It's been a month. Started getting hard to pay bills and shit like that. And I'm in a mental hospital. I'm just thinking, holy fuck, these people don't get it. And nobody got it. They said I was bipolar. I'm not fucking bipolar. It was retarded to go to a mental hospital. I think it's stupid. I think all mental hospitals are retarded places to go to. I've been to another one. I found it the stupidest fucking place to be. They do not help people. If you've been to a mental hospital and you think you were helped by people, and like in the setup that I went through where with TriStar in Tennessee, the setup that I went through, I found it to be very stupid. You will not get help. If you think you got help from that, you're lying to yourself. Don't believe those people, but you are lying to yourself if you think you've gotten help from a mental hospital. It's really just like the police's way of mandating people through. It's the government's way and the court's way of saying we handle mental health, we understand it, and they just push people through. They do not give a shit. Every single doctor I saw, they don't give a shit. For what I'm going through versus what's happened to me, they don't give a shit. So they put me through the hospital. Nobody gave a shit is really all I have to say. They gave me so much medication. They did not give a shit. They've given me the medication that they gave me. But yeah, they admitted me falsely. I was there for 7 to 8 days. They picked and prodded me with IVs and shit that I didn't want in me for a minute while I was in TriStar and Hermitage. It was horrible. I did not like it. It was horrible. They treated me horribly. They treated me horribly. They dehumanized me in every way. I did not feel like I was a person because of how they treated me. I did not feel like a single person in that hospital came to me and treated me with an ounce of dignity, with any amount of dignity to what they were doing. They didn't have any integrity. They had no hospitality, and they had no motherfucking right to hold me. I went to the hospital, and they had no motherfucking right to hold me. And that's how I feel about the first visit and the second visit, is really what I'm saying to that hospital in Hermitage, when I'm not lying. When you're fucking retarded to have done the things that you did. When I'm in the hospital and I'm laying in my bed and there's IVs inside of me and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, holy shit, people just want me inside of a hospital right now. There's IVs inside of me. I'm waking up in the morning and there's an IV inside of me. I'm producing a song in my head. I found out what I wanted Saria's song to sound like, so I made Saria's song in my head in the hospital one night or one day, whatever. It was really nice. I get out of the hospital. I have a job at a burger restaurant. Eventually I leave there. I go to a fast food restaurant. I'm just working in the food industry as much as I can. All those things, like, it's hard working in the food industry. It's hard being able to keep up with like your money and shit like that when you're doing it. It's hard to get a job when you're incriminated, when you have a record. I was falsely incriminated. I felt like this is fucking retarded. I'm going through so much stupid shit. I'm like emotional over shit, and I don't get to emote it because people around me are lying to me and lying on me about shit. The police are trying to police my emotional state and put me in mental hospitals. Like, fuck you is really what was going on. But I decided I'm gonna ignore the police. I'm gonna take 12 and take them out of my mindset. I don't give a shit about the police. They can't do anything. They're fucking retarded people anyways. I've already told them what was happening to me with me being spied on and bugged, and they're fucking retarded, so they don't get it. So Love 2 is out. Came out on Valentine's Day. Things were getting kind of crazy in my life. I I had this guy, he lived with me for like 5 days. Eventually, this girl that I knew, she came over. We all went out to a club and he wanted to fuck her. And I was like, oh my God, that's my best friend. You don't get it. We came back to my house. I was trying to like get him off of her tail. Eventually, we just had this argument. He punched me and like I kicked him out entirely. Like everything was kicked out. We were in the process of getting out all that shit. So that happened. Around that time, I put out another EP, Fantasy World 24 Sampler, the FW XSIB. I don't know if that's what it is, but we put that out. I say but Fantasy Treasury stuff. We put that out. Love to eventually goes offline. And we're just making Creepy Critters. Like Creepy Critters is coming out. That's all I was focused on. So that's in February. Then into March, April. April was like when Creepy Critters was about to come out. I meet somebody in April, and we got married. There's a bar in Bellevue. There's somebody there who came up to me, asked me for my number. So I gave them my number, and then we started dating. I don't really care about marriage. I don't think it's that invaluable to not take a chance at any moment. So we got married. In my eyes, I'm sure that was in their eyes, but we got married, and that happened. I'm just like detailing everything that happened like around this time. We got married. I was looking for a job. I had a job whilst we were together. We went to, I called them one night. I said, hey, I really do have like this issue where I'm being spied on is the thing. And after he tells me you should call the police, I call the police and I tell them I'm being spied on, I'm bugged, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to explain it. They send the fire department and an ambulance there, and all these people are there talking to me, and there's like 6 people looking at me, and I'm like, hello? Is anybody gonna take me to an x-ray and like see what they've bugged in me is, so I can like see an x-ray of it, have somebody confirm to me like, yes, this is how people are speaking to you because we have this in an x-ray, or we don't know exactly what it is other than calm down, buddy, we think you have schizophrenia. Keyword think, you think. But anyways, that happened. They come there the next day. I drive to the hospital in Hermitage that I was hospitalized at in December, and I tell them that I'm bugged, that I'm being spied on, and I need to get an x-ray to see what's happening because I'm being terrorized by it. Like it's hateful energy being projected at me that people are broadcasting and transmitting to me. But yeah, I tell them about this. They give me an x-ray, and then they hold me there. They strip me of my rights as I try to leave the hospital. They strip me of my citizens' rights. They hold me there on a judge's hold. I tell them I actually have an appeal case in court on Friday, and they know this. I'm telling them you need to let me leave so I can go to this court date. They don't let me leave. They say they have a judge's order to keep me there, and they really don't have the ability to show it to me. They never rescheduled my court date. I told them I need you to send a social worker to reschedule my court date. They didn't goddamn do it. They didn't listen to anything I said. And then they wanted to send me to a mental hospital for what I was saying, and they didn't show me any x-rays. They really had no ability to say that what I went there to tell them was happening to me wasn't happening to me for how I was saying it. And then they hospitalized me on false conditions, and not conditions that I said I was going, like why I went there for. They said I told them I had a bug infestation inside of me, an infestation of bugs inside of me. So anyways, I leave the hospital because they're medically malpracticing me. They upped my dosage of one of the medications I was on while I was in there. I think it was Cetraline. They upped my dosage while I was in there, and it was immediately me saying, like, how dare you not let me leave this hospital, and then you tell somebody by proxy that you're upping my dosage, when I'm telling you that's not why I'm here. I need you to let me leave so I can get out to my job, because you're making more in your day than I have the ability to in a week, and you're hurting my ability because of my personal life's circumstances, because of what this government is doing. And why am I even there? Because the government, a judge wanted to keep me there, is what they said at TriStar. But I'm released because of medically malpracticed. I didn't need any of the medication they were giving me anyways. I found it stupid to be given medication. I went off of it immediately. You should not be on medication if you don't take medication in your life. If you don't have mental illness, if you don't have mental conditions that you need medication for, don't take it. I don't. But anyways, yeah, we broke up when I was in the hospital, because I was taken into the hospital. Wasn't able to prove what I was going through because the hospital didn't want to look into an x-ray or show the police, rather than handling my situation as, I'm coming here, somebody bugged me, somebody probed me with something type of situation, where you're able to check somebody's body and then give it to the police. They handled it as a mental health situation, because they're fucking stupid people. But anyways, I leave the hospital, and then I go to court. I go to the Tennessee courts. I go to Metro courts because I need to get my appeal case done to get my misdemeanor taken off my record, so I can like work again, so I'm like not out in the world with an illegal record. So yeah. I'll go to the appeal case. I can't really say it all, but like, I mean, they blackmailed me and stuff like that. I said it to a judge on the appeal. I was like, I need to appeal this misdemeanor because like these people blackmailed me. They set this whole thing up against me. This is not real. This isn't like making sense. And she said, it's been too long. So she didn't let me appeal my misdemeanor, despite the fact that Cassandra Patterson was blackmailing me and all this shit. And she made sure to show up to the court date. So, I mean, I'm sure she was sure enough of what the situation was that she needed to show up there. But anyway, she goes there. I'm not able to appeal it because it wasn't in the appropriate amount of time. I just need to learn how to expunge it, I guess. Being falsely incriminated and persecuted. And falsely accused in America. But I leave the courtroom and Creepy Critters, the new version comes out. They approve it and it came out. So I left the courtroom. Creepy Critters is out. Awesome. I can't believe it. Album's great. The new songs that were on it were really cool. It was really cool. It's not online now, but it's gonna come out again with like better versions of certain things. But Creepy Critters came out. It was really fun. It's one of our better albums, one of our crazier albums. It's an entirely different sound from Too Weird for World and Fantasy World 24 type stuff. It's really just what I wanted to do, what Nathan was doing, what we came together to do. But yeah, that came out. I really didn't give a shit that this girl was saying these things about me, falsely accusing me, being able to be the person facilitating a cover-up against my rape investigation happening. I thought it was retarded that I was able to go into a courtroom saying these things when they should have, from the very beginning, when I was brought into court with my ex-boyfriend, from the very beginning, they should have let me speak rather than just dismissing us from court. So I could have said, they raped me, so a cop could have said, all right, let's report it so we can investigate it, rather than you having to go through a court proceeding of this where people are lying about it and you're not able to do certain things, despite the fact that that's not what was happening to me, because I went to the police and I reported it and I told them this, right? But anyways, we're in court. I'm not able to get my record clean because they don't want to appeal this. Creepy Critters came out. I don't have any rent. I can't pay for my motherfucking rent because I don't have any motherfucking money because I can't get a job. So, all this is like, oh my god, everything's happening. I have to get rent. So, somebody tells me you need to pay for your rent, and I ask them, how can I do that? I'm in court right now, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just thinking, holy shit, this person just told me I need to pay my rent. I don't know how to fucking do it. And then they tell me how to get relief. The government has only done one good thing for me in my whole entire life, and it's been rent relief. And I don't want to accredit that to the government in certain ways because they're not the people who told me about it. But I was able to get rent relief in my situation where I really needed it because I was falsely incriminated. On top of the fact that COVID is really fucked up in Tennessee. Like, all of this shit that I'm laying out is happening, and coronavirus is still happening at that time. I'm being falsely incriminated, not capable of doing certain things, being thrown into mental hospitals during coronavirus. It was really stupid. It really fucked up a lot of things, and thrown into prison during coronavirus. Those people aren't vaccinated so often. Those places are not clean. It makes me somebody who's not able to be in public, is really what I have to say. The lower class jobs that are available, where you have to deal with the public constantly, you're in a situation where coronavirus is affecting that. The public jobs I have to serve, coronavirus affects employment. It's one of the reasons I was not able to find employment. I don't think that the government understands a lot of this when they're dealing with workers' rights and convicted people's rights, to where I feel like I don't know what people who are convicted, who can't get jobs, are going through during what I'm going through. I don't want to sound like a dumb motherfucker for dealing with what I'm going through and not wanting to have to, like, really go out of my way to get help when I do the best I can. Yeah, I got rent relief, and COVID was happening, but that happened to me. I got all of that paid for, and I got a job, and then I started writing "Do Not Eat," and that's coming out. There's so many songs on that are really interesting. Some of Fantasy Treasury's best songs, like "All For You" is on that. "Fade to Black." A lot of the songs I wrote myself. And then Creepy Critterz is coming out at some point. Creepy Critterz, in its final product, is going to come out. Hopefully it's a compilation and, like, categorizes that. That's what I was really hoping for. But I don't know. I don't know if I described my music and my life well enough, but so much is happening in my life that I wanted to just explain what's happening in my life versus what's displayed in my band's music being released, and what it means to me personally and what it means to my friend for us having created it and us being able to use it as a device to be able to explain strife and creative expression and the ability to fend for yourself in that strife and be able to build yourself back up from that strife. Nobody can take that away from me. What me and my friend have created for each other and for the world to see, and for us to bring our talents together and try to hone in on things that are really, really spiritual for us, and really it's intuitive nature what we were going into with all these things artistically. To be able to hone into those things and do something very serious with it. When we started it as something extremely creative and personal and analytical of our own lives and stuff like that. I don't know, it was like very, very inward to be able to change everything like that into something just creative and not necessarily capitalize off of it, but turn it into a product. It's been very interesting. We're able to do all that stuff, and I don't know.